So my name is Kristi Woolsey, and I am an associate director inside of BCG Digital. I am the leader of the Smart Environments Group. When I was in high school, I'm very artistic, and I used to paint and draw all the time. And I think my dad and mom were really afraid that I was going to become an artist and be a starving artist, and they would have to support me for the rest of their life. And so they found a local architect and convinced him to hire me, I don't know, to watch his kids and answer the phone and take out the trash. But it was very interesting in the work that they were doing. So I went to work for them over the summer, and then in the fall I signed up for tech drawing in high school, and I learned how to draft. And when I went off to college, I studied architecture, and I wanted to be an architect. So I got my undergrad degree in architecture, and in order to practice architecture, you have to get a graduate degree. So I worked for a few years, and then I went back to school to get my graduate degree. And just as I was graduating, I was offered a position on the faculty of a university. And I thought, well, that'll be interesting. So I joined the faculty, and I had to, if you're faculty, you have to research something. And so I was looking around to figure out, like, what would I really be interested in. And I had done my work in graduate school around thinking about different cultures and how different cultures have different kinds of buildings, and and why is that, and it's not just weather, but sometimes it's the cultural patterns. And so I kind of started digging into that, and I discovered an area that's called behavioral strategy, which is the idea of manipulating the physical environment so that people behave in a certain way. So it's things like, like putting the milk in the back of the store so that you'll buy more, or, painting fast food, red and yellow so that you'll eat fast and get out of there. So all the things that you can do in physical space that will influence behavior. And I was really interested in that. So it's almost like the psychology of space, which is kind of interesting. So I did that for a while. I taught and I wrote on those topics, and then I kind of got tired of talking about it, and I wanted to actually do it. And so I went to halftime as a university faculty, and launched my own architecture practice the other half-time, primarily working with restaurants and hospitality and retail, where the physical environment was delivering an experience. And at that point, what I didn't know yet was that I was doing user experience, which is a technology term. I was doing UX, but in physical space, like, what do people see? What are they doing? How do I make that experience better through the physical space? And it started expanding, not just physical space, but it matters what the server is doing in those places. So, it was place and people. And then as technology was starting to really become more predominant, I was like, we have to design experience across, people, place, and technology. And and so I got really interested in, like, how do I use technology in physical space to help to drive that experience. And of course, I was not a technologist. I didn't, I wasn't, I could use a computer for Word or whatever, but I wasn't a software programmer. But I took a leap, and I joined a company that did smart product design, right? So, the digital interface for your washing machine or whatever. Because I wanted to understand, like, how do you do that? How do you design experience across all those three categories? And so through that work, what I discovered is that I don't actually have to be the software engineer to be on a software team. And my knowledge and understanding of how people behave, which is more of a psychology, sociology, whatever. I bring that to it. I bring the technical expertise around how to build buildings, which is quite interesting. And I'm learning every day over the last 5 years that I've been part of this digital team, to have more of an engineering mindset and to really understand where technology can deliver. And I think I would say to anyone who is remotely interested in this kind of work, and it is very exciting when we think about buildings being smart, that it needs so many different kinds of people to do this kind of work, that I would not shy away from those kind of STEM careers. Simply because, like me, you're artistic, or because you're a writer, or because you're whatever, because I think there's lots of places in science and technology that need those other kinds of skills, and you just have to be willing to go there.